Hello there, world of tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, we'll be playing on Lost Temple. This map has been removed from the game for a very long time. I think the last update that this map was available on was when the Hovry was released. I mean, that was like 4 or 5 years ago. Wargaming removed it from the game because they said they wanted to rework it and make it better, and then didn't do anything to it and released it this month. So, yeah, a classic wargaming moment. Too lazy to actually rework the map or make it look any better, even though it's been, hidden for 5 years. But they've unsheathed it, and today I'm going to be giving you a full guide on Lost Temple. How to play, where to drive your tanks, and how to succeed. So if you want to see more content like this, as always, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. And with all that being said, let's get straight into it. Starting off, we're going to make our way over to the bird's eye view of this map. And I'm going to explain where the mediums go, where the heavies go, and then we'll do a little bit more in depth by driving around the map, and then I'm going to showcase a replay of me actually playing on the map. So let's start off very, very basic, right? This here is where you're going to spawn in your heavies and tank destroyers, and this here is where you're going to spawn in your mediums. And same thing for the other side of the map. This is medium spawn 2, and then heavies and tank destroyers are going to spawn at 1 and 3. This is the heavy side of the map. If you're driving a heavy tank, this here is where you're going to want to go. Realistically, the best spot to drive most heavies is this area right here. The reason why is because you can hide your weak hull armor, your lower plate, and use your turret armor to poke on these stairs, right? I can use this little area here, and then I can poke looking over this area, and it's really, really nice. You can also move up a little higher, and you can use these steps up here as well as cover, which is really, really nice. So in general, working this position is going to be one of the best areas for any heavy with decent turret armor. Even if you don't have great turret armor, you can still use an E100 and hide your hull and poke very easily. Now let's say you're in a mouse or you're in some sort of super heavy and you don't want to work this area because you're worried about the enemy IS-7 absolutely bullying you. Well, that's fine. You also have this portion of the map over here to work, and this is another really good spot because you have plenty of side scraping, right? You can drive your mouse right over here and you can side scrape here. You can drive it over here and you can side scrape. You can drive it over here and side scrape. I would not recommend to drive it here though, or here. And the reason why is because if any mediums decide to flank and they get over here for free, they can now start shooting you in the side if you're anywhere in this area or this area, or this area. So you got to be a little careful. Another spot you can side scrape in your heavies is all the way over here. However, I wouldn't recommend this, mainly because of the fact it's so far out. This here is usually going to be the best spot. It can deal with mediums if they start flanking from behind very quickly, and it can push in pretty aggressive. It can move over here. So that's kind of the best area that you're going to be working with in your heavies. In general, the heavy side is super easy to understand. In most heavies, all you're going to do is go to this portion of the map. Now, if you're in a medium, this is where you have a lot more positioning, right? So let's swap this over to a medium tank now, okay? So mediums are going to spawn here. And from this position, you have a lot of different areas, right? You can drive your medium up this ridge, and you can chill over here. You can drive your medium down this road all the way wide. You can drive your medium over here and go up this hill. You can drive your medium up this hill. You have a lot of different areas to work. My personal opinion is don't go this far over here. I see a lot of people that go all the way into this corner. And don't get me wrong, the corner is not a bad spot, but the problem is you kind of box yourself in, right? Because if enemy mediums decide to go down this road, or they decide to work up top here, you're literally just stuck in this position. You cannot get out. You can't leave because you're exposed trying to get out here and over here. So because that, I never really push up that far. If I'm going to go towards this corner, I'm going to work this spot here. I'm going to drive up this hill, and then I'm going to use my gun depression here to overlook this alley here, and then this position over here as well. That's what I'm going to do. That's going to be your best bet. Another spot that you can go is you can go up this position, but the problem with this spot here is that tank destroyers can sit over here, and they can shoot you. And that's a big problem. From this spot, they can shoot this entire area here, and they won't be spotted. So I wouldn't recommend to use this position at all unless you know that there's no tank destroyers in the back. I would recommend this ridge right here. I think that's going to be your best bet of positioning. I don't know if the game ended. So what we can do is we can take a look at the replay, and I can fly around and show you. So yeah, if you're in your medium here, as I said, you have the option of going all the way down, or you can work this position right here. And this spot is the nicest because you've still got hull down positioning. You can overlook this road and you can overlook this spot. So this is going to be your best area here. You can back up, you can work this ridge line, and you can get a little bit higher up and you can shoot all of this area. As I said, the problem with this spot here is that tank destroyers back there can see you. So this is not the best position. Maybe if you're in a light tank, you can go into this bush, but I don't recommend it. I also would not recommend to go down this area here. This is a death trap. If there's vehicles that want to just YOLO you from up here, they can. And anything that's above you, this is just not a good area. Do not go to this spot of the map. It's terrible. Another spot that I do actually like is this position here. But the problem again with this spot is while it does give you good early game spotting, if you're in a light tank, it's not bad to poke this. But the problem is, again, anything that's in this area here can shoot you. Anything that's over there can shoot you. You don't want to put yourself in an exposed position. So in general, in early game medium tanks, I would recommend to go here. This is going to be your best spot. Use this position hull down. You can use this rock to hide your lower plate and, use your turret armor. That's going to be your best spot. So that's my recommendation. I wouldn't recommend to go wide, though, as I said, because you kind of box yourself in there. You don't really want to do that. Then once you have the ability to move up, you can move over to this little ridge here. This is a really nice spot because it overlooks the crossing there. It overlooks this, but it's going to be a little tricky to get there, of course, so it's going to be more dependent on if your team is supporting you. So this is the spot you want to be. Heavy flank, as I said, is really super basic to understand. The reason why heavy flank is so easy is you just either side scrape on these little walls here. You can hide your lower plate around these corners, or you can just use these stairs. Super easy. Now, the final thing we have to talk about are tank destroyer positions. One of the best tank destroyer spots in this map is right here. This position allows you to overlook anything that overpokes the stairs, as you can see, which is really nice. And you have that exact same spot on the other side of the map right there. So you have both of those spots that you can work. You can also go a little bit further into that bush here, and then that's also paralleled right over here. And these bushes allow you to see, well, actually, you don't have that on this side, which is interesting. But if you're this far back, you're not going to be spotted anyway. And from this far back, you can shoot anything that overpokes on this side of the map. So these aren't bad tank destroyer spots. Another not so bad tank destroyer position, as I mentioned, is right over here. You can knock down this tree, and then you can overlook this entire area. And if something tries shooting you or you get spotted, you just back right off the hill, and then you're in cover, which is really good. The other side of the map is the exact same thing. You have that same tree, knock it down, and then if people try pushing, you can just literally back right off the hill, just like this. So those are really good tank destroyer positions. You also have some spots over here that you can work. These positions over here, you can kind of get onto this ridge line right up here. This is another reason why I don't really recommend to go to this medium spot, because tank destroyers can sit on this ridge here. They can shoot you and back into cover before you even have the opportunity to hit them. And again, same thing on the other side of the map. You can walk up to this kind of portion over here, and if you can get the right type of tank destroyer wedged up here, you might be able to shoot it, but you don't even need to. You can also just drive up this ridge line here and shoot it. In general, I don't recommend to drive mediums to that far corner. You have so many spots that can absolutely butcher it. So yeah, tank destroyer positions. You got this spot here. You have this spot here. And then you also have the bushes back here. And then you can also work on the opposite side of the map. You have that hill there. You have this position over here, and then you also have the bush back here. Those are really going to be the three best positions for tank destroyers that I would recommend to use. I wonder if you can get up here. You probably can, but you need a teammate to boost you up. But this would be a really good spot to work, wouldn't it be? Does the other side of the map have that too? No, so it's just that side of the map. Interesting. Either way, that is a basic overview of Dynasty's Pearl. Those are all the positions that you're going to want to work. And now we're going to showcase an actual replay of Dynasty's Pearl, so you can see exactly what we are working, or not Dynasty, Lost Temple. Now we're going to see a replay of this map, so you can get a full idea, right? So I'm in a heavy tank. I'm obviously going to drive my heavy tank over towards the stairs, because that is exactly what you want to do. I have good turret armor. I have good gun depression. You don't even really need gun depression to work this spot, but because I have good turret armor and I have good gun depression, this is the perfect spot for me to work. So I'm going to drive up here, and I'm going to move all the way up to the top stair. And what I'm going to be able to do here is you're going to see if I actually break into the camera, I'm just hiding my hull, right? Pretend you're down here, right? This is what you're looking at. So it's a perfect way to make your armor as strong as possible when you're working a spot like this. But nobody on the enemy team is spotted yet. But there we go. We got a Gravedigger in the back. Easy shell. That is that tank destroyer spot I was just talking about there. You can see why it's a really good area, right? If I overpoke, the enemy team has 3 tank destroyers, so they could very easily shoot me here if I did decide to overpoke this. So Gravedigger overpokes again, get a nice shot into the lower plate for 303. That player's knocked out of the battle. So we can see the enemy team is mostly over on the medium flank. So what we're going to do now, we're going to move over towards the medium side. We have the TS5 spotted in front of us here, and I know that this tank is so slow that we should have a pretty free time to take him out. So we're going to aim in. Unfortunately, even though we do shoot him in the lower plate with premium AP, it must have gone just an inch too high and did not actually end up penetrating his vehicle. But that's fine. We're going to reload again. TS5 shoots at me. Now we're going to load a gold shell into his lower plate. We can see here another great example. These little walls are really good protection. You can see I'm able to hide a decent... I mean, obviously I'm poking very far, but if I was in a vehicle that could side scrape pretty well, like an IS-7, I could hide my vehicle. And actually, you can see here, I backed up pretty far. And backing up to this position from the angle the TS5 sees, it does hide my hull at least a little bit more. Again, obviously I'm still poking my hull, but it's nice that you can hide it from this position here. So we get a nice shell into the TS5 again. We're up to 1,300 damage now. At this point, I don't think the TS5's enjoying life. Bro's dead. We can move up, get a nice high explosive into the SU-130. And as we move over to the medium flank, you can see all of these hull down ridge lines you can work. As I said, if you know that there's no tank destroyers left to really combat you, this spot here is so good to be able to catch the enemy off guard, to work a ridgeline really well. And honestly, I really like this map. I think that Lost Temple is a map that should have been in the game since day one, because of the fact it's actually a pretty fair map. You have really good spots for medium flank, you have really good spots for heavy flank, and for tank destroyers as well. And none of them are overly imposing on each other. I think it's a really fair, balanced map. So you guys can obviously let me know your feelings, comments, and opinions about Lost Temple in the comments, but at the end of the day, I think that this is a pretty well-balanced map, and I think that this guide should help you learn how to work it properly. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!